Tutorials. Today I'm going to show you how to get started in Adobe Premiere. So in this tutorial I'm going to just kind of cover the very basics of using Premiere and basically what I use it for in creating my tutorial videos. I used to use it to make the entire videos start to finish, and it took forever, and it's a very difficult program to use. I feel like I've used Photoshop, I use Photoshop every day, and Illustrator and InDesign, and to me Premiere is the hardest one to use. I'm sure other people will argue with me about that, but in my opinion it's pretty challenging. So I just use it for basically clipping my pieces of a video together, or my segments of a video together, and then from there I import that finished product into Kazoa, which is an online video editor that's super easy to use. And after this tutorial I'm going to make a tutorial that I will link as well below that will show you how to use Kazoa to wrap up your video if you want to use the same method that I use. So once you open Premiere, you're going to go to New Project, title it whatever you want. So I'm going to do one of my Photoshop speed edit videos of Merida. I'm going to find what folder I want to save it in. So I know tutorials, and let's see. No, let's just save it right here. Select. And all of this by default should be good to go. There's no reason, unless you're getting into some more in-depth editing of the videos, you shouldn't need to change any of that. So I just hit OK. And then you're going to see these windows open up. And the very first time I used this, I was super confused, and I still get really confused about what's going on. But basically what you need is to have the timeline, which is where the media is going to go. So the film clips, you're going to drop into this area here. You also need to import the media. So in order to do that, you want to be able to see that. So we also need the effects control. Actually, let's close that for now. Media browser. So I just went to Window and clicked on Media Browser. So it just popped up over here. The most frustrating part of Premiere is you need to have several of these little windows open at a time, and it's hard to see all of them without having to constantly slide them back and forth and adjust it, and that drives me crazy. So usually once I'm done with one of the windows, I'll close it out so it gets out of the way. Like, I don't need this, so I'm going to close this panel here. I'm going to close other panels. There, so that's gone. Okay, so I'm going to find over here, I'm going to click on the source, like where my files are saved, which is on this external hard drive that I use. I'm going to go down to where I have saved my film clips, and characters, Merida. Okay, so you should see when I do a speed edit or any kind of editing tutorial, as I'm editing, because a lot of times a picture will take me an hour to edit, I will save it, like stop the video and save it 10 or 15 minutes in, and do that periodically just at the chance, because I've had it happen before where I would edit a picture for an hour or 2 hours, and then I go to stop and save the video, and something happened for whatever reason and it doesn't save, and then I've lost all that footage. So that's why I have multiple film clips here. So you can see here, Merida 1, Merida 2, 3, and 4. So all I have to do here is click on one and drag it over, and this, you can see V1, A1. So that's my video clip and my audio clip. I'm going to slide the next one over. I'm going to slide 3, and if I slide this bar here, I can see more of it, and then 4. Okay, so now I'm done with my media browser. I'm going to close that. I don't need the effects control. I'm going to close that panel. So now I'm left with the sequence here, and then this just kind of shows you what you're viewing. So if you slide the bar across, you'll be able to see me editing the video there. So when I'm filming these, there's nothing that I have to cut out because it's just a continuous edit. However, if I did need to cut something out, for instance, the beginning or the end or somewhere in here, the way you're going to do that is you're going to find wherever that clip is. So let's say right here, I determined that I need to cut that part out and the next 5 or 6 minutes or 5 or 6 seconds of it. What I would do from there is, if you hit your C on your keyboard, you can see that it looks like a little razor, and if I click on that, it just split that. You can see now it just split that clip. And let's say I want to cut out to here, so that whole part. Then if I hit my V on my keyboard and select that and hit delete, it's going to remove that section of the clip, and then I can slide these back over, and it's like that part never existed. I'm going to backtrack because I don't want to remove that stuff. From here, what I usually do for my speed edit videos, because I add in music later, I don't need the sound. So I'm going to remove the sound from my video. So to remove the sound, you can do it one of two ways. You can unlink each one of these clips and then delete out the sound. Again, because what I'm doing is just one long continuous speed edit, I'm going to group these 4 clips together and make them, like merge them together to make them one. So if I just highlighted all of these, now if I right click and go to nest, that's going to merge those all together, nest them all together. So nested sequence 1, you can call it whatever you want. If you had an intro and an outro, or however you want to do it, and you want to name them something, you can. But for what I do, there's no need to. So I hit OK. So now that's one clip. I want to unlink these. So unlink, and what that does is that makes the video and audio clips separate from each other. So now if I click on the audio, so A1, so that's that bottom row here, and hit delete, I now have removed the sound from the video. So if I play the video, so if I just hit the play right here, you can see up here me moving through the edit of this. And no one on my social media accounts or on my blog are going to sit there, I shouldn't say no one, but most of them are not going to sit there for almost an hour and watch this whole thing, especially with just music and not me talking them through the steps. So I like to speed these up to 3 or 4 minutes. The shorter they are, with still being able to, kind of get a gist of what's happening, then the more likely it is to catch someone's eye and they will sit there and watch it if it scrolls across their news feed. So what I do from here, let me just stop this, is if you right click on the sequence, so this is the video clip, and go to the speed. Right now the speed, it's just 100%, just the normal footage. So I want to speed that up. I want to get this down to 3 or 4 minutes. Usually you have to speed it up to a significant amount, about 3,000%. That's a little fast. Let's try 25. 500 gets it down to 2. Yeah, that should be good. So 2000%. This part doesn't matter at all. We'll just leave it. And it's going to take 2 minutes and 34 seconds. And then when I move this over to that Kazoa program I was talking about, and I add my little intro that I do on all of my tutorial videos, and I show the clip at the end, it'll put it right at about 3 minutes, which is ideal. So now when I hit OK, and I pull the bar back to start it at the beginning, now you can see when we watch how much it is sped up. So if I want to skip forward a little bit, hit play. So you can see it's showing me go through the steps. If I start to watch this and I decide it's still, you know, a little bit too slow moving, the 2000%, I can speed it up further, but obviously I think that that's totally sufficient. So I'm going to stop this. From here, there are 2 more things to do. So you have to render. Let's go to sequence and go to render effects into out. So if you were to have added effects to this, so text or any other kind of special effects to it, you have to render it. Regardless, you still have to do this. So if you click render effects into out, it's going to go through, render these files, and I'm going to skip forward so you don't have to just sit here and watch this. So as soon as I come back, the rendering part will be done. So it is wrapping up the rendering here, and once it is done rendering, it usually starts playing from the beginning. So all you have to do at this point is export the media. So if you go to export, so file, export media, and I usually do this, the H.264 as my format, and you want to make sure that it says down here sequence in to out. That means it's going to export the entire thing. You can select what you want the name of the video to be and where you want it to be saved. And let me just double check and make sure this is saving where I want it to go. So let's put this here. So here's some of my old ones. We've got Merida. And I'm going to hit save. And down here just hit export, and usually this goes pretty quickly. So while this is exporting, the last thing that I want to import or want to point out that's really important is where you select your files from. So if you open Premiere, start a project and import files, and then you save it and later want to come back and work on that same video, you have to make sure that wherever those files are saved are not moved. So if you were to import a video, for instance, if I imported the Merida video from this hard drive, and then the next time I come back to edit this, Premiere video that I'm making using that film clip, and I don't have my hard drive plugged into the computer, it's not going to be able to pull up that clip. So it's really important that wherever you save the stuff, you don't move it, or the next time you open the file, as long as you continue working on it, it's not going to be able to pull that data. It's super annoying, but that's another one of the cons of using Premiere. I really think that if you're doing simple videos like I do for the most part, you guys will really appreciate using Kazoa. it's not to say that Premiere is not an excellent program if you are used to using it. Photoshop was a nightmare when I first started learning it, and now I know it like the back of my hand. So I'm sure if I used Premiere more, I would become more comfortable with it. Okay, so that's it for there. I could save this. It's already exported, so I don't necessarily need it. And generally, I will just close it out. So if I go to, I have so many folders. If I go to my folder to find it here, I should now have video if I saved it in the right spot. Oh duh, I'm in the wrong folder. 2020 and my film clips. Another hard drive I have plugged in just decided to cut out for a second, so that's fun. Let me go back to my folder here. So where I was, let me get back to it. Oh, good Lord. Urban Rhino Tutorials 2020 film clips. Merida, there she is. So that is now my completed clip. So if I click on it there, you should see now it's a sped up video, 2 minutes and about 30 seconds. And again, in the next tutorial, I'll walk you through the steps of adding this film clip to Kazoa and how.
Thanks for watching this video. Make sure you stay connected with Urban Rhino on social media. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, comment below, and of course, subscribe to our channel.